Hey guys, it's Rachel from Little Ring Lamb. Today I have a book review on the Princess Diaries series. This is a review of the complete series, all 10 books and 4 novellas. I managed to read all of these. Some of them were rereads for me and some of them were new reads, but nonetheless, I enjoyed the series very much. In my notebook, which I placed on the floor because I'm going to show you guys the books in order in a minute, I have pages of notes I'm going to talk about. And during the end of the notes section, there is some spoilery type things. They're not really spoilers, but they're more spoilers on kind of like relationships and dynamics in the books and how they change over the lapse of the books. But I will let you know when the spoilers come up in case you don't want to hear that stuff. I don't think it's crucial spoilers, but I don't want to spoil somebody else's experience of reading these books. So now I'm going to show you guys the books in order. Also, one note about the books in order is that I was looking on Meg Cabot's Princess Diaries website page, and there's different stuff in the books. Like some of the books, like the novellas, are placed differently inside the cover of the book where they say the books in order. But I just went by her website because I thought that'd be the most accurate way to go. So this is what I read in order. So the first book is Princess Diaries. I have a bind up of the first 3 books because I couldn't find the first book. I got this one at a thrift shop, so I couldn't find the first book individually, so I decided to pick this one up even though I have the second and third books. That's why it's so big. Then I have Princess in the Spotlight, the second one. Third is Princess in Love. Fourth is Princess in Waiting. 4 1/4 is Project Princess. 5 is Princess in Pink. 6, Princess in Training. The novellas is 6 1/2, The Princess Present. And Party Princess by Meg Cabot, which is the 7 1/4 is Sweet 16 Princess. 7 3/4 or a half, I forget the numbers of them, but they're in between 7 and 8. Valentine Princess by Meg Cabot. The 8th book, Princess on the Brink. 9th, Princess Mia. And lastly, Princess Forever, the 10th book in the series. So as you can see, this series is quite the commitment, but it's one that you can easily read through. And it's just like, I wouldn't say it's lighthearted because it deals with a lot of stuff, but it just feels like a nice lighthearted read that also provides you with some like morals and kind of just thinking about choices you make in your life, because Mia is a teenager for most of the book, and as most of us know that when you're a teenager, you go through a lot of change. You're just trying to decide what you're going to be in the world. Even when you're an adult and even when you're a kid, everybody has changed, but I'd say the teenage years are what most people would label as the most time where you're really diving into your identity and trying to figure yourself out as a person. And yeah, so I found this very helpful when I was younger, especially reading this. So if I'm looking down at my journal, which I put 3 pages of, notes. But basically, once again, I will tell you when I get into the more spoiler-y part. So yes, basically if I'm stuttering a little or like kind of confused what I am, I might have wrote this really messily. So, first of all, to explain the series. So this series does have some significant time gaps, but for the most part it follows Mia through grades 9 to 12. The last book is the end of grade 12, and then I'm pretty sure the 9th book is like the beginning of grade 11. So there's a significant time gap between that, but pretty much the first 7 books in the series are very tight, close to her grade 9 and 10 years, which are more of the bulk of the series. So basically this series revolves around Mia between the ages of 14 and 18. And you start off when she's 14 and she finds out from her father that she's in fact a princess and not just an ordinary New York teenager, that she actually is royalty and is royalty descended from Genovia, which is a fictional place, but for this book is a principality in Europe. And basically the story follows from there, and Mia goes through ups and downs of her family life, her friendship, her romance, everything, school life. It's just a whirlwind of emotions and activities. And the last 3 books, I can tell you, I was so emotional, but I'm not going to get into that right now because that's kind of spoilery. But yes, it was just a really good journey rereading some of these. I hadn't read them in a while. Also, these books are done in diary entries, which I find is really nice. I really love diary entry books, like especially when I was younger. I kept looking for books like these books that were in diary entries, but I couldn't find really any that rivaled them that I can remember, because I don't remember any that stood out to me. But I just really like the diary entry thing because I feel it's more personal, and you can complain. So I wanted to keep this book review kind of somewhat on track. Also, first off, I mentioned this in my Back to Me, but I didn't include the new release that's coming out this year. It comes out next week. I didn't include this in this book review because that is adult fiction and these are all YA, so I wanted to keep them separated for the sake of this review, but I will have a review up on that sometime soon. So anyway, if you guys are new to my book reviews or just need a refresher, I usually rate my books as plot, characters, cover, suspense, and overall in terms of reading them very soon, 5 out of 5, not so soon, 1 out of 5. So basically, we're exempting cover from this because there's a lot of covers, and you guys probably want to hear me rant and rave about the covers. That'd be really boring for me, probably really boring for you, but if you really want to know my preference on certain covers and series, definitely let me know in the comments, and I'll definitely share that. So plot I gave a 4.5 out of 5. Now this book was making me so emotional, I had to calm down. I need to keep reading. I was going through something. I've never really gone through this with a lot of books. Like, I'd say very few books get me this riled up, but I was seriously so riled up. I don't even know what got into me, and I was just reading them furiously, trying to, especially the last 3 books, I have to say. But there were some parts that were a little bit boring, that I didn't really like as much, but for the most part, they were really good reads. Characters I give a 5 out of 5. These characters make me feel such strong emotions. Like, it's very hard for me to rate characters down, and I'm going to get into the specific characters I really liked later on, but that's going to get a little spoilery, so I will definitely let you know when that comes up. But basically, in a combined score, I give the characters a 5 out of 5 because they got me to feel such emotions. They were relatable. I just really loved the characters. It's really hard for me to rate characters down. Like, you have to do something really, really bad. There's a character I absolutely hate in this book, which I'm going to discuss at length because I've been discussing it to my best friend and my sister. I was going off about this character. But I didn't want to mark the characters down because of that character, because that character did their job. It made me really emotional. It made me really angry, and that's what I think his job was. Suspense, 5 out of 5. I need to know what's going to happen. Like I said before, I was just rushing through these books. They're so addictive, so good, and I just want to know. Overall, I give this book a 5 out of 5. I definitely read it again, and I wrote a little blurb on the bottom of this page, which I'm looking at my book. Read this last when I was 12 or 13, and I'm almost 20, and if I can enjoy it as a preteen and a teenager who learned or need to learn a lot, then read it at my age now and still love it and appreciates quite a bit about the series. I thought it might be a bit mature for me, but I went through some of the same things, and now it's funny to read about it. I thought, when I first started reading the series, like, is this going to be way too, like, I'm not one who likes to read middle grade books. I'm kind of like, it's not that I hate them, it's just like I went through so many middle grade books when I was younger. I just don't really like them anymore, and now I've been trying to stay on the older scale of the YA and not go to like to 14, 15-year-old protagonists as much as I can, because I don't know, I'm one of those readers that I like to stay closer to my age group, I guess, when I'm reading. I'm weird like that, but like, I don't want to read sometimes about 12-year-olds because I passed that stage of my life, and no, 12. I don't really like middle school either. I don't really have very fond memories of my middle school. I try to erase it kind of from my mind. I have some good memories, but a lot of bad memories because I absolutely 100% hated elementary school. I was way happier in high school. I went to a pretty, like, it was a new school, but it wasn't nice. It didn't really have heart. It was horrible. Let's be honest. A lot of people even say that. So I don't really like reading a lower scale of YA because I don't want to reflect on that part of my life. So I was kind of concerned, but then reading this, I was like, this is so relatable even at my age. Her friends are using slang I use. It's kind of weird because this was also in the early 2000s, mid-2000s. And yes, basically 2 tidbits I really like I really like Mia's comments about the 2 films. So these are like not really spoilery because I didn't want to get into spoilers, but this is definitely not a spoiler. But she does discuss the 2 films made by Disney. I really personally enjoyed the first film. I don't really like the second film as much because she even mentioned this in the book. She's like, why would I break up with Michael? And I was like, it's probably due to filming that they had to, like, because the actor who plays him is actually the lead singer of Rooney, which is a band, because I did quite a bit of research because I was like, why wasn't he in that? But I don't know why he wasn't in it, but you know. And then I have Mia and Michael because they're the 2 that I guess would be the biggest ship in the book, to use that terminology. And I just really liked them together. So this is I'm going to mention actually first the only thing I didn't like. So I have 2 things I didn't really like as much about this series. One was Mia's reasoning sometimes, because sometimes she took a while to solve a simple conflict or freak out at a blip on the screen, so to say. Though to credit her, she's a teen, and that's when we are developing into ourselves, and it's a time riddled with change. So I get why Mia freaked out about certain things, but some things I was like, I wouldn't even freak out about this. And I freak out about a lot of stuff, but also this is fiction, And this is probably what a lot of people did freak out about, but maybe I didn't because I freaked out about other stuff that they probably think would be freakish to freak out about. I don't know. And also it made me so emotional, which I also hate at that point because, not hated it, but I have a love-hate with that part because I was so emotional, and yeah, I had to keep reading because I need to know. I put that along Goodreads because, like, guys, this is making me go crazy. Like, I'm so emotional over this. I don't think I've been this emotional over a book in a while. Oh my gosh. So favorite character dynamics. Okay, so favorite character dynamics. I'm going to be mentioning my favorite couples, my favorite friendships, which change throughout the books. And this could be a little bit spoilery. I'm just going to try to keep the spoilers to a minimum. But I'm going to put Project Princess right here. I hope you guys can see this. Okay. I'm going to keep that book right here. And when I bring it up here and you can see me hold it in my hand, that means the spoilers are going to be over about this part. So you might want to mute the video, but this could be a little while. But at the end of this video, I'll be giving my series score. So favorite characters and dynamics. So I have 10 favorites I put down. First of all, this is not in no particular order. I just wrote them down in whatever order I felt like. So I really liked Mia, Michael, and Lily's dynamic. I really liked that it wasn't weird that, like, she was dating her brother. Because that could get quite weird, but I really liked their dynamic altogether, especially in the movie, how they kind of all chilled together and it wasn't awkward. 2, Kenny and Lilly, I really liked their coupling. I really thought that it was a pretty good twist considering he and Mia had a thing, but I just really liked them together, but we didn't get to see a lot of them as well. I really liked Dupac and Michael and Mia and how Dupac was like, you're dating a princess, like this can't be, you're playing a prank on me. I just really liked his and Michael's dynamic, even though you didn't get to see a lot of that as well. I really like Boris and Lily's relationship. I really like their dynamic because Lilly is very independent and she makes that very clear, and I really like that about her character, but sometimes she's way too independent where people try to get close to her and it seems like she pushes them away or she can be a little critical. But I really like Boris and Lilly because it was a good evening out because he's more the romantic type and she was more the independent. So it made, like, it worked out well together because they weren't too dependent. Like if they were both dependent, which that could not work out well, I guess. 5, I just really liked Tina's character and how she was a good friend to Mia, and also liked how she had a bodyguard, Wahim, and Wahim and Lars were buddies, and it just made a really cool dynamic. Rocky and Grandmere, I really like their relationship, even though they're not technically related. It was really cute to see a softer side of her grandmare, or grandmother. Don't know which one I should call her. So 7's Mia and Michael. I love their relationship throughout the book. It's just really sweet, and it was really good. I just liked how it played out. Mia and Helen, I really liked her relationship with Mia's relationship with her mother. And I really liked her mother didn't get pushed aside. Her mother gave her lots and stuff. Even though her mother's like, there was a lot of significant changes throughout the book, I really liked how certain scenes you'd have their mother-daughter things, and her mother didn't beat around the bush. She told it like it was. 9, Grandmere and Mia. I really like their relationship. Even though they don't always get along, I just think it's really entertaining to read about. And 10, Mia, Tina, and Lilly. I really like Mia's relationships with her best friends and how even though she is dating someone, she doesn't let her best friends falter and stuff, which you see quite a bit sometimes, especially with YA. It seems like the best friend and him are hanging out, they get a relationship, and you don't see the best friend as much. But I really liked how they were still in the forefront. And the character, I absolutely 100%, this is like, if you guys have watched my review on 20 Boy Summer, I posted quite a while ago, or if you know about 20 Boy Summer, there's this character in that book, it's also by Sarah Auckler, there's this character in this book called Frankie. She was my #1 most hated character because I knew 2 people like her that, like, if you mix them together, they would become her, and it just boiled my blood, and I was so angry. And now the character John Paul Reynolds Abernathy IV has taken her place. She's bumped to 2nd. He's #1 hated on this character list. I absolutely hate his character. I'm not going to get into it because, once again, spoilery, but no. Now spoilers are over, so I'm just going to put this book down, and I'm not going to be talking about... That landed good. I'm not going to be talking about any more spoilers. So, lastly, my complete series scores. For the complete series altogether, I give it a 4.5 out of 5. It's a great series, long series, but it honestly feels like one big book. And by the time you're in the last book, you're wondering where the time went. And also, this is very good for the reading challenge because there's a lot of books. They move faster, great read. And yes, I just absolutely loved rereading this series and reading some of them for the first time. And it's just really great. I don't know, I just really enjoyed this trip down this series. It's taken a little while, but yeah, I just really enjoyed rereading them. I didn't think I'd enjoy it as much as I do, but I just really want to reread it again. It was just really good, and yes, I can't stop gushing about it. But yes, I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.